Today is the 3rd, I believe, of March. It's Tuesday, and it's 10 to 3. There must be a dog in heat or something too, because it's just galloping off in front of me. I know it's nice sometimes to do entries here where the news is good, because I get the feeling it's more often bad. But I know I must have made an entry saying how relieved I was to have my teeth done. But today I feel bad, and it's just about my teeth as well. I'm just thinking it's an extraordinary amount of money that I've had to spend. It's 5,000, and yeah, that's maybe what it's going to be altogether. 5,000 euros. I know eventually you'll probably go through this money one way or another, and having very good strong front teeth, the fact that you're going to be eating every day. But there's a part of me is kind of thinking, would I really not have been able to live with false teeth, just the two? Would it have been that bad, having false teeth? Would I not have gotten used to it? Would I missed the ability not to be able to bite down on a hard apple, for example? Would I? And if I'd had that done, I would have maybe saved myself 4,000. And would that have been? Would it have been worth it? Does it matter in the end? Will there ever come a time when I'll think, Jesus, I really could do with that 4,000 now? All this is on my mind, by the way, because of the way I feel lately. I think if I was working and I was carrying on saving, I wouldn't have the same preoccupation with that 4,000, but it is this, and this is what I wanted to kind of, I guess, vent a bit. It's a feeling of hopelessness at the moment. A feeling of hopelessness in terms of getting a job, and just slowly going through my savings from now on, and eventually the crypto savings, and finding myself, amazingly really, I wouldn't have believed I'd be thinking this a couple of years ago, but finding myself perhaps back where I was before I met Flo all those years ago, with nothing. And then if anything happened, there would be no problem with having to make a choice, because I'd have no money, so I simply wouldn't be able to do anything anymore. If I needed another crown or a fixed thing, I just wouldn't be able to do it. It's a depressing thought, but like today I booked a flight to Ireland, and in the end it cost 170, and Martina called and said she booked a flight for me to go to Marbella on the 4th instead of coming back to France. And so I had to cancel one. No, but I didn't cancel it, it's still there, but I had to book another flight, and the whole thing cost 170, which is really cheap, because Martina's booking an apartment. I'm going to have a week's holiday in Marbella for nothing. But still, Flo was like, it's coming out of your savings, yeah, which is fair enough. And so it's another 200 out, and I'm down below 5,000, which was one time 10,000, and you can just sense it slipping away. course, I have to say to myself that, we're going to Nice in a week because it's a surprise for my mother, and I'm going with Flo. And then I'm going to Ireland because Flo wanted me to go to Ireland because she wants to have some time on her own. It wasn't even my idea. And going to Marbella is Martina, like she's paying for everything. But again, it wouldn't be something I would have done. In fact, left to my own devices, I wouldn't have probably gone anywhere. And right now, with that sense of spending money and having nothing coming in, it's a horrible feeling. It makes me think back with nostalgia to the Connemara, which never really seemed like we were earning a lot. But we were always putting money away somehow. There was always like £50 notes in black every week, petty cash, the extra money going into the caisse, the pan, and the ability to save, and it was just a healthy situation. And now for me it's not, and I have to try a few more jobs. I have to try McDonald's. I did attempt to give my stuff in, and I bottled out because I thought, I can't. I think the will to have some money coming into my account is eventually going to override all the uncomfortability about any job. I think I'll take anything, and I'm going to go back to Manosque and do some more, what did they call it, spontaneous applications. But it's just like Flo. She says, yeah, it's good you're getting away to see your family and it's coming out of your savings, so it's not affecting her. But it doesn't solve the problem, and it doesn't solve the problem. And it would have been better you going looking for jobs in Ireland, but you don't want to do that. It seems kind of hopeless at the moment. I felt that today. Actually, I felt really depressed since Friday. I can kind of pinpoint it Friday. Because during the week up to Friday, I felt kind of okay. I felt I was doing something, and things seemed a little more hopeful. It's funny the way moods they just colour everything. But Friday I overdone it. I went to Orizon and I stopped into a few places, and I came back and I went to bed early, and I was just kind of sick. And since then, today's Tuesday, that Friday has been like Saturday, Sunday, Monday, but I still feel the effects of it somehow. I still feel down and like things are hopeless. And I've got all this holiday stuff coming up, and it really doesn't do anything to me. It's funny, it doesn't. I am neither excited about it nor not excited about it. I think I'll enjoy the time of being in transit. Because when I'm in transit, I can't be worrying about any of this stuff. I have to be careful about you know what when I'm in an airport. But being in transit, being on a bus or whatever, you are at least away from everything for a while. But I have to say, I'm going to Ireland on the 25th, and Martine is leaving the 27th to go to Marbella, and I'm not looking forward to the time spending in Carlow, because it's always the same thing. I don't really want to meet anybody anymore. I've become to go. Ah, fuck it, let's keep going. People in front, oh, fuck it, I don't care. It's okay, let's keep going. I don't want to meet anyone. It's, which means I'm going to probably do what I always do. I'm going to spend most of the time in my mother's place and my Martina's place. I'm going to spend hours looking at old programs on the TV, and after about 3 days I'm going to be fucking bored. And if the weather is bad, it'll be, because where do you go? I mean, you walk down to the town and you walk back. And once you've done that once or twice, you're fucking done. I can perhaps bring my 360-degree camera and take some footage of various places. But there's something about going back to Carlow. There's something about it being uncomfortable for me. It's like there's almost a fear of meeting people that I know. I don't want to meet Kieran Egan. I don't want to meet Brendan Brophy. I don't want to discuss my life, because it's just, I'm not comfortable talking about the way it is at the moment. It's me, like I say right now. I feel down, so everything is down. There's a sense of, and then I'm going to go with my mother from Carlow to Dublin Airport on the bus, and that doesn't fill me with any joy like Flo would imagine. To go. Yeah, going to Marbella. I'm going to see Catherine and Callie, and I don't know what that would be like. And then there's the added danger of the drinking. I have to hide that from everybody. I have to get out of that habit, I think, and learn to be with myself when I'm like this. It is just a phase. I'm a strong believer. It's not a case of belief, it's a case of knowing that things do kind of bounce around, and the way I feel now won't be the way I feel tomorrow, But this last few days have been difficult. There was kind of the joy of having my teeth, that ordeal finished. But there's just this kind of dreadful sense of the situation with me and Flo. I kind of said it a lot, I suppose. The feeling of being with someone who's kind of made it clear to you that they'd be very happy if you weren't there. That you're a problem. That you can't just be there. Someone that kind of, when you say you're going off for a week, they say, why don't you go for 2 weeks? it does a lot to the ego and to the kind of wherewithal or the well-being of the person when you're with someone and have been for a long time, and they just seem to never fail to seize the opportunity to tell you how happy things would be if you were somewhere else. And that the things can't stay the way they are, and that's a problem, and you can't do this, and you have to get a job, and me spending money and just this particular time having to spend thousands on my teeth when I've got no money coming in. And I guess just that sense of going backward kind of at this point. I'm thinking, I hope I don't end up where I was before I met Flo, when you didn't have a penny. Where did my dog go? Oh, there he is. I have to say to myself again, it's a passing kind of thing. And I was just saying when I was on the couch, there was a time, many years ago, when I first saw myself working in the video shop till I retired. I distinctly remember having that feeling of, am I always going to work here? Is this the end of the line for me? Am I never going to get another job? And when I think of all the things that have transpired since then, Tuko, let's go back. Let me put this on you. Hi, Tuko, this way. It's okay, this way. We'll find more stuff to smell. Yeah, I go back to that thought again and again, because it really truly was at that moment. I thought, is it going to be like this? Is this it? And that seems so crazy now to think that I've had about 2 different lives since then, in terms of. So I have to be aware that this is just a phase. It's just a thing, and the problem when you say things like that is that in the video shop it got better in lots of respects. But the thing is, it's kind of like a Neil Young lyric. It's just a phase and things won't stay like this. But there's always the slim chance they could get a lot worse. It has to be said. I don't have any health issues at the moment. Something like that would really put the cat among the pigeons, But let's be positive and let's say this is just a phase, and hopefully I've done. But I don't know, when I listen back to this, and I listen back to the ones after this, and I know how the story has unfolded, and hopefully I'll be looking back on this thinking it really was a phase, and I'm glad now I have money coming in, because it wasn't nice in the situation where there wasn't. I got two women in front pushing a pram. I guess I can bring Tuko into where we watch the lake, but these people, well, I can pass them out, but I don't want to be talking on this as I'm passing them out. When you listen back to this, it's just audio. But to me now, I'm walking and I'm trying to keep out of the muck. I'm feeling the wind. I'm looking at the water. You know, Tuco's just had a big shower. She's sniffing everything. You don't get any of that, of course, just listening to the audio. Tuco, this way. No, no, no. I have him on the lead, so when he starts to go up behind trees and things, can't. Tuco, wait. So yeah, it's 21 minutes of me moaning, whinging. It just feels a little hopeless. I don't know where a job is coming from. I don't even know if I was given the opportunity to do a job, if they'd keep me, because I feel absolutely incompetent. And if those things don't happen, how am I going to get away from Flo? How is she going to get away from me if I can't get to the position of having a job? And I hardly dare think of the alternative of me ending up back in Carlow. I just said earlier on, a week in Carlow is almost too much for me. The thoughts of kind of being there indefinitely, it would kind of be going back in time in a terrible way and having just erased 20 years of your life. I don't feel nostalgic about the Connemara, but there's more and more of a regret about that business, just in terms of the practicality of having money. The fact that for so many years I never had to worry about money. I didn't need much money. It was never a big deal. But being in the situation where you're working like that, and it's coming in bit by bit, and you're saving bit by bit, and so that whole area is, you don't have to think about. And now I think about it. Now every time I spend anything, now I think about it. You know, my teeth wouldn't have bothered me as much financially a couple of years ago. I certainly wouldn't have cared about spending €100 here or there a couple of years ago, but now every €5 I spend, it kind of sets off something in my head, because it's kind of, it's €5 less, €10 less, 200 to 4,000 euros less, and me and Flo are there's no sense of us being a team in any way, shape or form. There's no sharing anything. What's kind of I've got is mine, and the rest, it's my problem and my situation. It's like with her flat in Marseille, she wants to do it up, and I said if the crypto went up and she needed the money, I would be able to go in with her to do it. She's absolutely not. She doesn't want anything to do with me in terms of doing her flat. She hasn't said it yet, but she'd be probably quick to say maybe we should get separate bank accounts. All that stuff it's kind of brutal, the fact that we're not in this together. There is no we're in this together philosophy here. There's no we'll get through this together. There's no it'll be okay, because she doesn't want us to be together. And all of that stuff is maybe some of the worst stuff. It's the fact of feeling their complicated emotions. There's a sense of being let down, which is, a lot of people would say, oh, don't be fucking stupid. You're not a baby, you know. You're a 60-year-old adult. Stand on your own 2 feet. Don't be such a fucking wimp. And that's true. But I can't get away from the fact that had the situation been reversed somehow, if I was the one working, I wouldn't have that attitude. But it makes the whole thing a little more insecure, you know. You just feel you're on your own. And more uncomfortable. Because someone is constantly reminding you that the day you get a job and get your own place, that will be a great day. She says stuff like, she says, oh, it'll be for you though. It'll be for you. You'll be happy with that because you don't like me telling you what to do, and you don't like me doing this and that and the other. But I think, like I've said to a few times, there's no point in trying to turn the narrative into, it was my idea. I wanted all to go. I wanted her to get out of the bedroom. I wanted to get... It's not. It's her idea. It's always been her idea. But of course it gets to a point where you think, God, one day I'd like to fucking show you. You take so much, and then one day you kind of think, yeah, well now. Because she's said so many things to make me feel bad. But in order to do that, I need some money and I need a job. And not only do I not see where the job's coming from, I'm not sure if I'm capable of doing many jobs, even fucking basic ones, because of this and that, the language, confidence, the problem with my eyesight, the driving. It is what it is at the moment. And it is kind of two things. There's the whole looking for a job and not wanting to go through all my savings for whatever reason. That's one thing, you know. But then there is the other thing of simply feeling unwelcome, of simply not feeling wanted, of someone kind of wanting less and less to do with you. And of, like I said, it's just the fact that there's no sense of any togetherness. I mean, I know Flo's, she'll go to the doctor with me. She reminds me that I need to have an IRM scan. She certainly wouldn't like to see me sick or anything. But there's a part of me thinks one of the reasons for that is more because of the inconvenience that it caused. Not just me, but the thoughts of her having to drive me up and down to a hospital for some kind of treatment would seriously torment her. God, I had lots of wishes when I was younger. The only wish I'd have now is that somehow, if I could come about to have 1 or more million euros, somehow. And I don't mean because of anybody's demise or anything. I'm not saying I'd wish any ill on anybody. I don't mean that. I mean, if there was just if I could just win something. If I could find myself with that kind of money, get a little place somewhere, and start from scratch in my own little apartment. And there'd be no necessity to work anymore. And I could have this brilliantly bright little apartment. This is the kind of thing you'd think, and then I think it'd surely make me happier. I've kind of said earlier on, which is an interesting thought, if I had a job and I liked it and I had money and I was in the process of looking, would I really be rid of all the angst? And sadly, I kind of know myself enough to say, no. If you had all that sorted out and you and Flo are just friends and there's no more of that bullshit anymore and your bank account's looking healthy and you're reasonably healthy, you'd probably find yourself looking out the window going, what am I going to do now? Is this it for the rest of my life? What's wrong with me? I don't want to go anywhere. Something would come. But at least that something would be maybe such a thing that I'd be able to go, wow, that's kind of metaphysical. That's just something I have to live with and I can forget about. But this stuff, the looking for jobs, the money running down, the flow situation, I can't bury my head in the sand with this stuff. I can't forget about it. I can't just wish it away, you know. Everything seems complicated. I don't know where I'll be in a couple of weeks or months. I don't know where I'll be at the end of 2026. In a way, it's a bit the kind of sad thing, or the unfortunate thing maybe, is that I really think I could be happy with so little. That in a way I've gotten rid of so much of the stuff that kind of hinders people. I don't have any ambition. I don't really want to go anywhere. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to change. I'm not looking for any more specific enlightenment. I'll always look for inspiration. I'll always look for something, different philosophy, different book. But I'm not really looking for much. I am reasonably like I used to sing about, a self-propelled wheel. If I had my own place and the means to get by money-wise and stuff, I think I could find myself in a pretty great place, you know. Because I don't really have. I mean, I look back with regrets. I wish I didn't do this or that. I wish I'd gone to a different drama school, blah blah. But I'm kind of in no way obsessed about the past. I'm in no way bitter about this and that and the other. I'm uncomfortable with the past and the people in it. But I'm not like a bitter, cynical, twisted person. At least I don't think I am. I think I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty upbeat. I'm always very pleased with myself when I can amuse myself all day by just recording a tape. Some people would find that incredibly stupid and maybe a waste of time, but I don't have that way of thinking at all. I think, isn't it great that I can be energized and motivated by simple things like that? By recording a program on a tape and finding the whole thing aesthetic and wanting to go back and listen to all those tapes again. Or by opening up YouTube channels and trying to do little videos there are things that I think I will always find to amuse myself. And so if I was left to my own devices, besides alcohol, I think I'd get along pretty well. I'd have my routine, you know, to get up in the morning and not have any worries. Now I know that situation it's never going to happen, because there'll always be existential worries. There'll always be, oh my God, what happens when I hit 70? I can't do anything about that. But I mean, none of these these little annoying fucking practical worries. The job, the money, the relationship. If I just didn't have those, if somehow all of that was cleared away, and I could just get up in the morning, open the blinds, and either have a job to go to that I really like, and that doesn't feel much different to being off, like kind of the job, the security job, where it didn't feel like work. If I had something like that, and I could go to that, and then I had my own place, and on my day off, there is none of that heavy feeling anymore. There's money in the bank, I'm getting along well, everything's fine. It's my day off, I'm going to go for a walk, I'm going to get some stuff to have a nice dinner, and then I'm going to relax, and I'm going to sit back and watch Red Letter Media or something without any problems at all, and I'm going to go to bed and I'm going to sleep. You know, that's the thing. I could be a very healthy individual if I didn't have these situations the way they are. I remember when Flo was away, and when I'm not hindered by alcohol, I used to sleep really well, and I used to get up really well. And I'd get up at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, and I'd have my coffee, and I'd be set for the day, and I'd go for a walk, and it was the simplest of routines. But I'm happy with it. I didn't need any more. So it's kind of a little unfortunate or frustrating that I feel I'm so close to having a peaceful kind of existence, which when you start getting to when you're already in your 60s, that's kind of what you want. Anyway, I should try and enjoy the trip that's in it, the journey that's there, the unexpected bits and pieces. I've always had a lot of luck. I've always felt like I've had a good star over me. Things have kind of always worked out. And I shouldn't let this particular period get to me. I should be aware it is a period. It may last for a month, it may last for a week, it may last for a year. But these situations, they always kind of resolve themselves. At least my teeth are done. And they feel good. And although I don't think about it anymore much, that's what happens. You spend about 4 months worrying every day about your teeth, and then the thing is done and you hardly think about it. My teeth are in great shape. And I'm going to sign off here. I'm going to try and wait till we get to 40 minutes. There's 2 people coming, and I don't think I've got much more to say anyway. So I will say adios, and hopefully everything is cool in the future. Good luck. Happy day. This is just a very quick update. It is it's still the 3rd of March, and it's 9:10 in the evening, and I'm about to go to bed, you know, not to sleep, but anyway. But I wanted to do this just as a little extra, the way, because I was talking about, you know, I was feeling terrible and have been all weekend. But I was saying to myself, you know, things change, and you never know. The kind of the world can have a mysterious way of working. And look at the way you were at various other times in your life when you were convinced you were going to be stuck at the video shop forever, or you were convinced you'd maybe never get a job when you were in Narbonne. Anyway. And I was going on about my tooth costing me nearly 5,000 euros and how was it a good idea. But just to say, and the stuff with Martina, but just to say, since then I've literally feel like I've been given 2,500 euros. Because Flo said to me today, she said, but we took 5,000 from the crypto, you put 2,500 in my account, 2,500 in yours, and that 5,000 was supposed to go for your implants. I'd kind of forgotten all about this. And so when she said it, I just thought, well, I'm not gonna complain about this. Maybe I should have been maybe it would have been the bigger thing to do, to say, no, it's me, it's blah, blah, blah. And she didn't mind, so I transferred the money. And the whole thing with Martina and the airplanes and everything is fine. And I applied to a McDonald's job. And after the walk, I felt a lot better. So although morally, as I'm thinking about it now, I do feel a little bit guilty, because perhaps if Flo thinks about this again, or if I was to, I could have had something done a lot cheaper. I didn't need to do the implants. I could have had something done for 1,000 euros maybe. And Flo may think, well, it is really your choice and you didn't have to do that, and it is your problem. You know, all my going on about her being like this, but this was quite generous of her to be looking at it that way, and it does show that in certain ways Flo is not really, she's not about the money at all, really. It's more other things. It's more control, it's more progress in life, it's more me and her. Anyway, the point I'm making is that I never would have thought this when I did that walk this afternoon, that well, that kind of suddenly the price of my teeth seems to have dropped by half, because it feels like that. It feels like now it's just 2,500 I've paid instead of 5, and instead of like just 4,900, I've got like 7,000 or something now. You know, it's like I've jumped up, and things seem a lot better. And there is still problems and everything, but I just wanted to make this little entry because I thought it's a good. Excuse me for a moment. The cat is drinking out of a little plant here, or the Flo's trying to grow something. Yeah, just to say, because to me it was an example of the way stuff can happen that seems impossible at one part of the day. I literally feel like I somehow made 2,500 euros out of the blue, put it that way, out of the blue, because I never, it wasn't on my mind to ask Flo about this, and in fact it was her idea. I didn't say it, I didn't suggest it. She said it to me when I brought it up. And also the way a person's mood can kind of swing around and things can feel a little more positive. So I just want that on record, that you never know what's about to transpire. And it's always good to kind of have a little faith in, it's not even perhaps to be religious in some way, but just to have faith in the workings of the master plan, or the way the little mechanisms of this divine clock works. Even if you're not like very religious, you don't know what's going to happen. And I know it can be bad as well, but it's nice to think that there can be great breakthroughs, and that the problems of Tuesday can seem very small on a Wednesday. Maybe big again on a Thursday, but let's not go there. But anyway, I just wanted to say it was just to say that thing happening with the money was kind of out of the blue, and I couldn't have seen that when I was talking at 4 o'clock today. It would have seemed outrageous to say that my account was going to go up by 2,500, but it did.